So it's very apparent that horses are your life, but has there ever been any other calling?
I went to a performing arts high school and was quite involved in drama and music and things like that there. Really enjoyed it, and there was, when I was a teenager, a point where I wanted to be in a band, and I played the bass guitar and did things like that. Yeah, so
Can you sing as well?
I tried to. Singing's not my forte. Gave it a good go though, and so look, for a while, when you're 14 or 15 and you're surrounded by a whole bunch of other kids that are all looking at a lot of careers in that area, in that field, I had a moment where I thought that would be pretty cool, but I always came home to the horses. That was the thing that drove me and that I had the most passion for.
So if you're sitting around having a few cans with friends, would you bring out a guitar and start busting out a few tunes?
Probably karaoke is my better thing.
Sing.
Yeah, well I can't, but I'm going to enjoy it.
Not through lack of fun.
Yeah.
Can you run us through a typical morning in the life of Gabrielle Englebrecht?
Okay, so I start very early in the morning. I get to my stables between 4 and 4:30. And then we check the feeds over, check the horses over and make sure that the team's all in good order. And then I ride a couple track work, and then I head up to the tower and I watch the rest of my team work while I get started on their nominations and acceptances, and sort of get a bit of an idea about what's in store for the day ahead, whether we've got races and things like that. And then at 8 o'clock I'm in the office here, and I start with Joe, and the day rolls on from there. So usually finish up each day probably about 5 or 6 at night, once I've sort of done everything I need to do.
Yeah, it must be hard juggling two. Like, how do you cope?
It is hard. Like anyone with a busy life, there's thousands of people out there that work 2 jobs, there's thousands that have families and all sorts of other responsibilities and commitments, and you just learn to manage. So, it was tricky at the start juggling the two. It took me a little while to get into a good routine and a good system for what works, but it's all good skills that you learn along the way anyway.
Yeah.
So.